It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Wednesday, the 19th of March. I'm Michael Groff. It'll be another gorgeous Chamber of Commerce kind of day out there today. Temperatures low to mid 70s, lots of sun. But here comes the warming trend for the rest of the week, this weekend and into next week. Afternoon highs soaring to well above average levels, approaching record territory, and dare I even suggest it? Oh, let me do this. Hold on. Let me get under the desk to suggest the possibility of the first 100-degree day of the year. Could we actually have that? Yes, you may have heard in the background. Michelle says, oh my God, I know, make it stop. Should we just cancel the weather videos until October? Well, unfortunately, like it or not, we do have to talk about it. So let's go. All right, deep breath. Here it is. Almanac from yesterday. 73 degrees the afternoon high. 57 was the morning low. 79 and 55 are the averages for this time of year. As we look outside right now here at 11:15 a.m. We've got sunny sky out there. It's beautiful. 63 degrees at Sky Harbor, but it also is bone dry. Dew point at 18, humidity 17%. Part of the reason it's so dry, we got that east-northeasterly wind at 9 miles per hour. It's actually been kind of gusty over the last few hours. We've seen some wind gusts to around 20 to 25 miles per hour across the valley. The barometer up there at 30.34 inches and steady. Satellite picture out here across the west, specifically here in the southwest. Pretty much a case of severe clear. We've got a trough over the nation's midsection. We've got another one off to the north and west of us that will not have any meaningful impact on our weather. And as you can see, the main storm track is staying off to the north with a rather potent weather system over the nation's heartland. And we can see what's going on with that on the watch warning map. Those are red flag warnings you see from Texas northward. And again, we talk about this every day, but for those of you new here, red flag warnings are issued when you have all the conditions necessary for the potential of wildfires. Low humidity, dry surfaces, dry air, perhaps above average temperatures, windy conditions, drought conditions sometimes. Anyway, all of those are favorable for wildfires. And when you see those red flag warnings, that's why we've got that. Speaking of, we've got wind advisories across much of the Plains states, high wind watches and warnings over parts of Missouri and some of the adjacent states. Look what you see up there, too. Blizzard warnings on the back side of that low from Kansas through Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, and winter weather advisories extend up into the Great Lakes. But to the south and east of that low, in the warm sector, we've got a tornado watch right now over parts of central Illinois, around Springfield and Champaign. So there is, again, a possibility for a few tornadoes there. Nothing like what we saw over the weekend, but still a pretty eventful situation there unfolding over the next 12 hours. And lots of wind extending well to the south and east of that. So you can see on the convective outlook for today, obviously in those areas where we have the tornado watch, you've got that enhanced risk of severe storms, level 3 out of 5. The broader severe weather risk extends as far south as Mississippi and Alabama. Now, the tornado threat isn't down there, but there is a small chance we could see some gusty winds and some hail with the strongest storms. Here's the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Wednesday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing. Statewide, nothing. Region-wide, nothing. Again, the main storm track is off to the north of us. This pattern is starting to look like that which we would see during the dry season. And if you think it's dry because of precipitation, if you think it looks like April or May because of that, wait till you see temperatures. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's see what the future may hold right now as we check those models. Here we go. This is the GFS. It's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Fairly potent upper low over the Plains states. And we are in the wake of that. A dry west-northwesterly flow in here. The pressure gradient is still pretty tight, so down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Sunny, breezy this morning. We'll see the winds begin to die off by later this afternoon and this evening. High temperatures once again low to mid-70s, fairly similar to yesterday. For tonight, clear sky, lows mostly in the 40s to about 50. Then for tomorrow, sunny, warmer, highs upper 70s and low 80s. We'll continue to warm it up with low to mid 80s on Friday. The sky is sunny. The air is dry. Over the weekend, a few passing clouds, but otherwise, highs should top out in the mid 80s on Saturday, near 90 on Sunday as we continue to heat up. Keep in mind, the average temperature about this time is around 80, so we'll be above average. The warm-up continues on Monday with low to mid-90s likely as high pressure is building in, sitting right on top of us. Those heights continue to climb. And here we go to Tuesday. And now we've got highs in the mid, possibly upper 90s. Right now we're going with a range of 93 to 97, but some of our guidance suggests that it could be a little warmer than that. And right now, the National Blend of Models puts the probability of us reaching 100 degrees somewhere in about the 10 to 15% range. Still a low chance, but not a zero chance. So, if you're wondering, the earliest that we have ever experienced a high temperature of 100 degrees in Phoenix is March 26th of 1988. Now, next Tuesday is the 25th. But as we go to a week from today, Wednesday, that's the 26th. And again, high pressure is right on top of us. Of note on the GFS, there's this little weak wave. And this one actually kind of going negative tilt, but the main dynamics would be a little south of us, and there's no moisture with that. And that's the thing. So even if that comes to fruition, at best, we could hope for a few clouds, and it could maybe just dampen out the height fields, the thermal fields enough to perhaps lower temperatures. But depending on the position of that wave, it may actually counteract that by adding in some downsloping east or southeasterly wind across the area. So we may actually see temperatures still close to the triple digits in the warmest desert spots. Here in Phoenix, right now, I think mid, maybe upper 90s are possible. Now, the good news, if there's good news to be gleaned from this, and I know we're really stretching for this one, right? But because it's March and the nights are still fairly long, we'll have overnight lows that'll drop at least into the 60s, but that's still above average. So air conditioners are going to be working overtime, especially during the daylight hours. That's for sure. As we go out 10 days, this is Friday the 28th, and unfortunately, we're still looking at a ridge here. There's a trough well off to the north and west of us, but unfortunately, I just don't think that's going to impact us meaningfully, as that will sit off to the west for quite some time. The preponderance of guidance keeps us dry and keeps ridging as the mean or dominant feature here over the southwest, at least through the next couple of weeks. Oof. And if you're wondering, this is a pattern that we more typically see later on in April and early May. Now, average high temperatures in Phoenix don't reach the 90-degree mark until mid to late April, and we don't normally see our first 100-degree day of the year until right around the beginning of May, and the average high doesn't reach 100 until May 31st. So, needless to say, we are well ahead of schedule, perhaps on a record pace ahead of schedule. And after what we experienced in 2024, I don't think anybody wants to see that, right? In fact, I still have the graphic hotkeyed on here just to remind you of what that looked like. Remember this? And nobody wants to see that, right? Okay, looking at rainfall for Phoenix. This goes out through the 2nd of April. It's off the GFS ensemble. He has a couple of members, or a handful of members that shows measurable precipitation, but the ensemble mean is well under 1/10 of an inch. European ensemble, pretty much same story. Ensemble mean under 1/10 of an inch. No real opportunity for precipitation anytime soon. We always watch model trends here. That's what we do, but sure doesn't look favorable. And temperatures off the National Blend of Models, well, the trend is up. And it's way up. In fact, by next Wednesday, it's printing out a high of 98 degrees. And again, there's a legitimate chance that we could have our first 100-degree day of the year out there in the middle part of next week. Hey, stop throwing stuff at me, all right? I'm just the messenger. All right. That'll do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today, and maybe till about the 30th of October. My next video, I guess, will come back tomorrow. Who knows? Things could change, right? I mean, this is still out into the future. Something dramatic could happen. You never know. That's why we love this science, right? Anyway, my next video back here tomorrow morning, reluctantly. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. And when I say like the video, I'm not saying you have to like the content of the video. If you just like the fact that we do the videos, I guess, or you support the channel and the information, even if you don't like it. I guess that's what I'm trying to go for here. Anyway, if you really like these videos, if you really enjoy our content and you want to support this channel further, then of course you can always donate to us by clicking that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube, or directly via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out her blogs, videos, everything Michelle related. It's all linked up down in the description. There could also be Adriana related stuff down there too. You just never know. You'll have to go check it out. Who knows what dance or what skits or what things Adriana is up to. I guess you can check it out. It's in Michelle's page. So what else? Oh, our streaming station. It's available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music. Have a lot of fun with that. All right. Thank you so much for watching. All of your continued support. I know the news isn't great, but I guess it could be worse. We could be dealing with tornadoes. We could be dealing with a blizzard. If the worst thing that happens here is it gets to 100 degrees next week, count yourselves lucky, especially after what happened with the severe weather that occurred over the weekend and tornadoes and all of that. We generally, once in a while, but generally we don't have to deal with that, at least. All right, thank you so much. You guys be safe out there today and have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Wednesday.